allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico and the symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures.
And today's invocation will be for Ms. Carey.
Dear Father God, as our Pledge of Allegiance states, we are one nation under God. Please guide our national, state, and local elected officials to enact laws that follow your biblical principles. Thank you for this day and for the freedoms and blessings we enjoy each day. Bless this meeting with your divine intelligence and loving grace. Please grant our Board of County Commissioners your wisdom of knowledge and understanding in all their decisions. We ask your blessings and protection for our servicemen and women, law enforcement, and first responders. Your word says, "Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted." We claim your words for the families and friends of those who died in El Paso, as well as for families of other innocent victims across our nation. We ask for your peace. We give you honor and praise in the holy name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Well, she was sure praying for wisdom for you guys this morning.
You don't have one yet.
Well, what are y'all getting ready to do? Well, I want to know.
I'm like, it's a pretty short agenda.
Yeah.
We didn't tell you?
No. Yeah. I'm a little worried.
You weren't in on that conversation.
No. Time out.
All right.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. We do have a few changes on the agenda if we possibly could address. Under timed agenda number 2, the Chevron check presentation, if we could possibly move that down. They're not here yet, so maybe at a stopping point if we could just move that down at some point, if that's okay. And then on the trailing agenda, item number 2, if we can pull that and remove that for this meeting.
Was there anything else?
Not till consent.
Okay. Okay.
And do we need to make a motion on that, Cass?
I think I would.
Okay. If we can get a motion and a second on that.
What do we need to say?
make a motion.
Before we make the motion on the Chevron, how do we address that? Just
Postpone
postpone
or delay it.
later in the meeting? Okay.
I make a motion to postpone or delay later in the meeting on the Chevron and number 2 in the trailing agenda.
Second. And that is that we are pulling item number 2, right?
Is it
Right.
being taken off
Yes.
completely?
Yes.
Well, not the Chevron one, the Chevron.
No, but number 2 is though.
Right, under
Yeah,
the
we didn't
trailing
have to have that, but that's okay.
Okay.
So those are different motions.
No, he said go ahead and remove 2 from the agenda.
Okay.
We heard a later date.
So we have a first and I have a second. Is there any questions? Please call for the vote.
Crockett,
Yes.
McCutcheon,
Yes.
Henry,
Yes.
Wood,
Yes.
Carlson.
Yes.
Okay, first we have public comments and announcements. Do we have any public comments and announcements this morning?
Mary. Morning.
Good morning. If you could just state your name for the record.
I'm Mary Garbutt. I'm the Keep Carlsbad Beautiful Director for the City of Carlsbad. Do I sit down?
If you would like.
I only have 3 minutes. So we're working on, you guys all should have received an email yesterday from Mayor's office, from Mayor Janway. We are excited to be hosting this year's Boots on the Ground illegal dumping workshop. It's going to be a workshop to address, obviously, illegal dumping issues here in our county. It's been held statewide. It's been held in Alamogordo, Grants, Doña Ana County. It's a team of professionals in their game, bringing their expertise and their knowledge to our area to host, I think, a very important discussion. You guys have seen me here, you know, I live and breathe this stuff every day, but you've seen me here representing River Blitz, which, you know, it's been going on for 20 years. We've had an issue. It's not a new issue. It might be more in, I say popularity, but with more people comes more waste. And it's an issue that we're starting to face on many levels. So it's a big deal for these guys to be coming over. There's going to be a team of 7 people coming over to talk about code enforcement issues, law enforcement issues, education and outreach in the schools, solid waste. It'll be and everything in between. I'm super excited. I've been to a couple of them around the state, and they just bring a wealth of knowledge. It works with, it includes the Keep Doña Ana County Beautiful, South Central Solid Waste Authority, Camino Real Environmental. It's just a group of professionals, and we'd love to have your attendance. If you're not able to make it, if you have someone that you can send, I mean, it's from anybody from field supervisors out in the field to elected officials to judicial representatives to law enforcement, code enforcement, everybody in between. So we'd really like to have your attendance, or if you're not able to make it, if you could send someone that deals with it. It's on all ends of the spectrum. So I'm excited. Okay. I don't know if you have any questions or.
We can't ask.
Yeah, we can do questions.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Well, we would just really like to have you there. Mayor Janway recently has put together a Carlsbad Cleanup Task Force that we've been meeting as well. I hope some of you have been getting the invitations. I don't know if you have or not. I don't have that email list. But it falls right in conjunction with that, bringing the city and the county together. I know some of that has been, been looked at and talked about recently, and it falls right in line with that. So if you guys can come, if you guys want to just come for half a day, there's breakfast and lunch included. We'd just love to have you there. So,
Thank you, Mary.
thank you. Appreciate
Thank
your
you.
time.
I love her energy.
Is there any other public comment or announcements? Okay. We'll move on to the trailing agenda. The first item is commission meeting minutes for July 16th, 2019.
All right, any concerns, any questions, any changes? Everybody good with them? All right, we'll look for a motion.
Make a motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. If there's no further discussion, please call for the vote.
Crockett,
Yes.
McCutcheon,
Yes.
Henry,
Yes.
Carlson,
Yes.
Wood.
Yes.
Next is special commission meeting minutes for July 22nd, 2019.
All right, any corrections, or is everybody
Good.
Everybody good?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve special commission meeting minutes from July the 22nd.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. If there's no further discussion, please call for the vote.
Crockett,
Yes.
McCutcheon,
Yes.
Henry,
Yes.
Carlson,
Yes.
Wood.
Yes.
Special commission meeting minutes for July 30th, 2019.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve the special commission meeting minutes for July 30th, 2019.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. If there's no questions, please call for the vote.
Crockett,
Yes.
McCutcheon,
Abstain.
Henry,
Yes.
Carlson,
Abstain.
Wood.
And next we have our purchase card report for June of 2019.
Anybody have any questions or anything?
I don't.
I have one question. Is Josh around?
He is not. He's out sick at a doctor's appointment.
Okay.
Travis.
Travis is here though in the back.
Travis. Yeah, Travis. Can we go to page 34 of 178? Or 21 of 178? Right there. On item 494, what is the who's responding annual payment for 3,800? Looks like it's for the,
So in the, I'll show you, kind of give you a good idea.
okay,
With all the firefighters, we have an app that
okay,
gives us information on the calls that we're going to. And
okay.
so that's what that payment covers.
It's just subscription to the app that everybody's on,
Yeah.
and it keeps everybody organized and stuff. Okay, I just didn't know what that was. I thought, man, that looks just, who's responding now? Don't we know who's?
And in that, reason why they call it Who's Responding is through the app, we can check that we are getting to the scene, and then other people on the app can see that those people are coming.
Great. All right. I have no further questions.
Anyone else have anything?
I'm good.
All right. With that, we'll be looking for a motion to approve purchase card report for June 2019.
So move.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Please call for the vote.
Crockett,
Yes.
McCutcheon,
Yes.
Henry,
Yes.
Carlson,
Yes.
Wood,
Yes.
Next item, we have approved, disapproved one indigent burial. Veronica?
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Commissioners. So today I have one indigent burial for Denton Wood Funeral Home. If you have any questions, I'm
Anyone
open
have
to
any
them.
questions?
No.
Very good. With that, we'll be looking for a motion to approve the one indigent burial.
So move.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. If there's no further discussion, please call for the vote. Yes, ma'am.
Crockett,
Yes.
McCutcheon,
Yes.
Henry,
Yes.
Carlson,
Yes.
Wood,
Yes.
Thank you, Veronica.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Next, we have the ICIP prioritization of Eddy County FY 2021-2025 Infrastructure Capital Improvement Plan projects. Steve McCroskey.
Good morning, Steve.
Figure out what my papers are. Okay, so this is our yearly redo, remodel, remake, prioritization of the infrastructure capital improvement plan that we have to turn into DFA. I sent the information out requesting any updates a couple of months ago. This is what we've come up with. I really didn't get any input from anybody on anything, so we looked at a couple of items. Wes spoke with the warden. We decided on this to move the detention center renovation up to the third spot on it. As you can see, we have last year's current rank over on the left-hand side. What we're proposing, then you guys give me what you want. I put that in there, then we forward that on to DFA. As they've explained it to me, this is really not supposed to be a wish list. It's supposed to be shovel-ready type projects. If this plays into the capital outlay later on in the year, at our training sessions, I'm going to put it the way they put it. Your chances of getting capital outlay are much less if your project's not on this list. So we try to include anything that we're going to be looking at for capital outlay requests on this list. So that's kind of where we're at. We've shuffled a few around, crossed a few out that we've spent money on, that the Black River Village, the Derrick Road, that we've already redone on these, so we felt like we ought to take those off the project list at this time. So I'm just looking for any input from you all. Whether or not you're good with the rankings we have proposed, I can move those over or change them, whatever you all want me to do.
Questions?
No, I like this list. I think that in our previous discussion, these are the projects that we're passionate about at this time, and the projects that we've been working on for the last year and a half.
The Southeast Loop Road, is that the 31, or excuse me, is that the U.S. refinery to 31? Okay, that doesn't include if we want to cross Grandy and redo that.
No.
That's not included in here.
No.
I'd like to see some money allocated for that as well. We
I
can do
agree with that. Where would you like me to put that in there on the list?
I'm not real sure how you have to rank these.
So your top
Okay.
five really are the ones that make a lot of difference, especially if you're going to go after grant funding.
Okay.
Now, put it in the top 5 now, or you could do it down below. But if we do go for grant funding for that project, we would just need to come back to the commission and make an adjustment to that amount. So it just depends on.
Well, I think that should fit right between New Mexico 31, US 285, and the detention center. So move it to number 3. Well, I think. I could tell you that a lot of people out there are very concerned about that southeast loop road.
And you're talking on this one, the part down Grandy, crossing there
Yes.
at the river on
Correct.
Grandy, and then going back over and essentially meeting.
Yeah.
Because I think that that's the way it needs to go.
Okay. Not trying to get too far off the subject, but I have to have some general information to know what to fill out on the other 7 pages of information.
I'm fine with it being in number 3.
Because we have a certain amount of money already allocated to the southeast quote-unquote loop road, correct? We've got our 11 point.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
We've got our 11.7 million already allocated to the southeast loop road, correct? Okay. So what's the time frame going to be on that? If we do apply for grants, these are all under 2021, looks like that would be the soonest we'd have any money allocated for that project.
Correct me if I'm wrong on this, Wes, but if we put them on this list, we don't get any money from this list.
Right.
The money will come from the capital outlay that we request, then they will go back and look at this list.
Okay.
And determine what capital outlay they may allocate out to anybody. So yeah, the soonest we would get anything based off of this list would be next year's legislative session when they do their capital outlay.
Okay.
Not the 2020, would we get it to
2021.
2021, not 2020?
No.
Get allocated
They're
to
not
next
going
year
to
for the
address
fall.
capital outlay funds in
Right.
2020.
Correct.
Yes.
This, when capital outlay comes about in November, if this is one of the projects that we decide as a county to put in the information for and the request for, then I have to go through another whole set of paperwork and documentation to turn in for the capital outlay, and then that is taken care of hopefully during the 2021 legislative session in January.
Yeah, kind of talking, I mean, not trying to get off the subject, we were talking about capital outlay money and stuff here. I know that there are, there's grant money out there for arterial roads. Are we, and we have to identify those arterial roads and turn them into the district office at the NMT. Have we done that? Are we doing that?
Yes.
I mean, that's the same thing as we're talking about here. I mean,
That's
it's grant money.
Yeah, it's grant money, yes, sir,
Yeah.
but.
But a lot of times, do we do a good job of doing that, of identifying those? Because I know that there are millions of dollars, like $10 million or something that comes up for that. And if you don't have those identified and sent in, then you
Right. We do, and the LGRF, which has been brought before you, I think, maybe, was it last commission meeting? Okay, that's where we've identified them, and we applied for that grant fund.
Right.
Yes. And it's the school bus, the co-op, and
Cap.
CAP.
yeah.
Yes.
Sorry.
And this year, we were only awarded through those like 200 and something thousand. They kind of move it around and try to award different entities or different municipalities and counties.
Well, we need to
Try to kind of move it around.
I know that for the longest time, when I was in the construction industry, we would talk to people like over in Lee County, and they were going, man, we got a ton of that money because nobody else applied.
Wow. A bunch of them did this last year.
Yeah.
We weren't awarded.
You know, so that was money that was just kind of free money that they were getting that we were missing out on. We need to kind of team up with the city of Carlsbad because they're also qualified for things like that. We need to work with them to identify any road that might even qualify.
I think the standpipe project, that was one of them that we partnered up with the city, and we used some the LGRF monies and some other grant funding in order to get that project completed.
Commissioner Wood? I just have one question. I don't disagree with the 31,285, but can you help me understand, this is grant money coming to the county to fix the state? Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Well, they should make that a priority. We're fixing their problems. That's kind of normal, so, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I just want to make sure I'm clear on that. That's the only question I had.
Yeah, we kind of spearheaded that.
Yeah.
But it's a state problem.
Oh, yeah. I just want everyone to know
But
that's a
somebody has
state
to
problem.
spearhead it, take the lead and spearhead that, and our guys have done a great job.
100%. I want to make sure everybody constantly is aware that we're fixing, again, the state.
State problem.
So you're welcome, state, if you're listening. Glad to do it. Anything else? All right.
Good point, John.
If I might also too, there's a resolution that will follow this under the resolution agenda. It's just approving what you guys have directed me to prioritize on this list. So I will change this list according to what you've just said, add in that other project, and then that resolution will accompany this when I turn it into DFA.
We don't really need to make a motion on this, since it'll come back.
Right, it's just direction.
Information.
I'm going to tell you another one that I'd like to see on here. I just got through, I spent last Friday in an automobile with Joe Monahan and down on Sewers Road. And on Sewers Road is only half a road now. One side of it is literally gone. So we were meeting trucks and stuff, and he was actually, I think, shaking because it was that dangerous. So I'd like to get on Sewers Road on there somewhere, you know, in the top half at least.
We can do that. Where would you all like it prioritized, and to what length on Souris, from the complete road from one end to the other?
It's in a lot worse shape than Old Cavern, the Old Cavern Highway, I guarantee you. And both of those are in my district.
It's definitely worse, Commissioner. I was just driving there. Oak Cavern's looking pretty darn good right now.
Yeah, it's a lot better than, have you been down on Souris?
I have. That's bad.
It's that bad. I mean, there's actually orange barrels where part of the driving lane used to be.
So do you want to put it before Old Cavern?
Yes, I do.
Or before?
Just move Old Cavern down if it's in such
Yep.
good shape.
I think it can stand to be moved down a little bit, but on Souris needs to be moved as far up as we could probably get it.
When do we have to have this turned in by?
I have to have everything completed and turned into DFA by September 2nd. And that's why I'm trying to get it to you all. No offense, I've got to try to get it in a little early because I'm going to be on vacation at your next meeting.
Got it.
So I won't be here to present it to you.
Jason, when is your roads study coming to pass? Yeah, it's not for a while. I was thinking, man, I'd sure like to have that thing right now.
End of the year?
We're in the process of procuring that right now.
Okay.
The only issue with that on the road assessment
is that it's gonna take them a couple months to complete that, and then about a month to put the report together. Our goal is to be able to sit down with everyone, hopefully December, and put that together for next year's budget.
Okay.
We do have several roads, including on service, on our maintenance schedule for this year.
Okay.
So that's when we're gonna be able to actually sit down and plan some big capital dollars. So,
Yep, Jason and I have been up and down a lot of these roads like on service.
well, I wanna apologize for on service. On service is actually our fault right now. We went and milled the edges of that and put in millings. And the road barrels are actually ours. And we pulled off that to go do a pothole blitz, but we rolled the millings in to kind of bring the edges up. So that one is our first one that we're gonna do next week after we finish up pothole blitz. So,
But I'd like to see that, I would like to see that be maybe one of our test. Hopefully get some funds
Yes, sir.
to do that test like you and I went and saw on Illinois, out on, what was it, the Delaware Basin Road?
the Tom.
The Tom?
Yes, sir.
That was impressive.
Yes, sir. We can definitely get together and see if we can't do that, if it'd be a good one to try that out on,
Yes.
so.
That's what I'm hoping for, to get the capital outlay funds to do something like that.
Can I ask, let me ask Jason here, these, as far as priority and what you're seeing as you go through the county, do they kind of coincide with what you're seeing as well?
Yes, sir. A lot of these roads that we have that are really bad in the county can really swing towards maintenance, that if we go back and replace them in kind, will fix a lot of issues. And our ICIP, and correct me if I'm wrong, Steve, this is gonna be planning out more of our capital construction projects, our big road reconstruction projects that we're gonna really go in,
Correct.
mill the road up, and put a brand new road down, or upgrade the road in some form or fashion, maybe go from a chip seal to a pavement. And that's more what the ICIP is. A lot of our roads that I'm seeing need maintenance, and we need to just go back with what's already in kind. And we're planning those out, and that's what a lot of our road assessment's gonna.
So,
I don't know if I answered your question.
no, that did, and I'm looking at 206. I go down 206 all the time, and in 2021, we're spending $300,000, 2022, we have $300,000 allocated. What in the heck are we gonna do to 206 with $300,000?
What we're currently looking at on 206, the few times we've drove up and down, is we need to pull the shoulders. We need to put millings or put base down to widen it, and we need to cover it back up with either a Tom or a double pin chip seal, which that can swing towards a maintenance because we're replacing it in kind. Am that correct, Roberta?
Yes.
Right, it's a chip seal. If we're going back on top of it with chip seal, that can be considered maintenance.
Okay.
So now if we wanted to go back and decided that we have enough traffic on 206 to warrant a pavement section, that's where we put it in a capital project. But I do agree with you that, I don't know, 300,000 might cover the engine for that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm just looking at it, and, you know, like I said, I know 206 very well. And I know they pulled the shoulders a few years ago. They lasted about 6 months, and then they were beat the heck again. So I just don't want to throw money at something that's, it probably needs more than that. I don't know if we have the,
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
go ahead.
And in defense of your ICIP, your ICIP, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, Steve, we have to have these projects on the ICIP list so that we can apply for funding. It doesn't really necessarily matter how much we're asking for, but it has to be on the list prior to us applying for funding. And then we can come back when we have our adequate or our accurate estimates and say this is how much we're applying, but if it's not on the list, then it's hard for us to go after funding for it, or we have to add it to the list.
Okay.
So,
And we can always make amendments to it,
yes, sir.
move projects around or add to it, depending on if something does come up as a priority and funding is available for that type of project.
This is like a work in progress.
Okay.
It's a working, open document.
I'm not just married to exactly what's on.
No, but come like October, November for the interim committees, our legislators will be calling Wes, asking for our ICIP. Gay Kernan usually calls about right after, usually around September 15th, wanting a copy of it so she can have it.
Okay.
I'll tell you too, 206 would be another excellent candidate for the Tom. Tom, we could do the maintenance part of it today and get the surface back into condition, and then put in for this type of money to do the Tom work.
We probably need to sit down with Roberta and probably Wes and figure out how we're going to classify Tom as we do it. See if she's going to allow us to do that as a maintenance.
Oh, that'd be great. I love that.
See what Bergen allows to do.
It's not technically a capital, we're going back with the cover on top of it.
Yeah.
It's just essentially a chip seal, it's just got different products in the mix, so
Yeah.
it's one of those we'll have to present to her and see if she'll want to classify that as capital or maintenance.
Oh, I'm sure she'll help us out.
Well,
Roberta's gonna follow the
Don't
rules,
assume.
so.
You don't see Roberta turn red very often.
Roberta's gonna
It's
follow
all
the
how you
rules, so
present it, right?
that's what we'll do.
Our auditors are here this week, by the way.
I'll deal with those for you.
Anything else to move around? Are we comfortable moving yours up and cavern down, and
I'm good with that.
we're good with that?
I'm okay.
Pretty happy?
Yes.
All right. If there's no more discussion, actually, we don't have any motions. Good job, fellas.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you, great.
Next, Mr. Chairman, we have the resolution and agreement consent agenda. All these items have been distributed to commissioners in advance for review. So if you do want to discuss an item, I please ask that you do pull it. Otherwise, I do need a motion and a second to approve the resolution and agreement consent agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I need to pull A19 -118 indefinitely. Secretary Sandoval and District Engineer Tim Parker called me yesterday, and they're going to be coming and presenting at our August 20th meeting, and it's in reference to this agenda item along with some other things, so I think we should pull it until after their presentation.
I need to pull A19-119, just for discussion.
Which one was that one?
A19, 119?
119.
And I don't have anything.
I don't have anything either, so we'll look for a motion to approve resolution agreement consent agenda, indefinitely pulling A-19-118, and then just pulling A-19-119.
I will make that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. If there's no further discussion, please call for the vote.
Crockett,
Yes.
McCutcheon,
Yes.
Henry,
Yes.
Carlson,
Yes.
Hood,
Yes.
A-19-119.
Yeah.
Welcome back, guys. Welcome back, Steve.
Steve, I've just read this and wanted a little further explanation on what's going on. I've talked to the city of Lebanon a few times about a bypass, and sometimes they're really wanting one, sometimes they don't want their town to dry up, and I just wanted to have a discussion on that.
Sure. That's what this is basically going to help us do, is be able
Okay.
to start those discussions with them. We want to be able to get a number of different routes, take to them, have them look at it, just work with them on a partnership to see what they like, what they
Okay.
don't like. Just trying to start planning, basically.
Okay. Okay, this is just starting the, if this is going to be feasible, if it's going to be beneficial to the city of Loving,
Yes, sir.
urban to Loving. Okay.
Information gathering to have something to present to them.
Okay. And Stantec's just hired under an MSA, look like, or something? Yeah.
Yes.
This is MSA, okay. So this doesn't go out to bid or anything like that? This is just like a T&M type, help us out deal that we've got? I'm good, okay.
questions on that? All right, with that, we'll be looking for a motion to approve A-19-119.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second, please call for the vote.
Parker?
Yes.
McCutcheon?
Yes.
Henry?
Yes.
Carlson?
Yes.
Wood?
Do I need to address that other one?
I think I would. I'd
Motion.
make a motion, if
Okay.
you're gonna pull 118, let's go ahead and do that.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we indefinitely pull A-19-118 until we hear from NMDOT Secretary Sandoval and District Engineer Tim Parker.
Second.
Have a motion and a second, please call for the vote.
Parker?
Yes.
McCutcheon?
Yes.
Henry?
Yes.
Carlson?
Yes.
Wood?
Yes.
Next is project updates. We do not have any project updates.
Could I ask how our blitz is going?
Is that allowed to test?
No.
Oh,
He can talk about it in his comments.
He can talk about it. Oh, you're talking about out here, that's how he needs to do that. Sneaky
So there might be some comments later.
on that bait out there.
Yeah. In case anyone's listening. All right.
Next is the travel request consent agenda. Everything on here is on consent, so if you have any discussion, please ask that you pull it. Otherwise, I need a motion and a second to approve the travel consent agenda.
Anyone have anything? No. All right, with that, I'll be looking for a motion to approve the travel request consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Thank goodness. I wanted to die. With that, will you please call for the vote?
Parker?
Yes.
McCutcheon?
Yes.
I think
Henry?
that is scary.
Yes.
Carlson?
yes.
Wood?
Yes.
Next on the agenda is emergency business. We have no emergency business. Legislative updates. We have no legislative updates. Next on the agenda is legislators, elected officials, and department head comments.
Now you can come.
Chairman, Commissioners, actually, I was going to come give you an update on our pothole blitz today. We have, this is our last week. We have, guys have been working really diligently and very hard on this deal. As of yesterday evening, they had repaired an individual of 889 potholes on 20 different roads, which accounted for 16,292 square feet of potholes that we've repaired in the county over the last 3 weeks. So we're going to finish strong on Friday. And I think this was a really good step forward on this deal. And hopefully that you've seen them around and seen some of the improvements that we've been making. The other thing I'd like to present to you in announcements is that we do have our issue reporter up and running on the website.
Excellent.
It is available through Public Works website, and we do have a way to track and address issues reported to Public Works for safety concerns and road concerns. And please go take a minute to look at it and provide us any comments if you have them. And we will still take phone calls to Public Works and have a way to add those into the same system, and walk-ins as well. So if someone wants to come in, just please have an accurate description and we will address it. So.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Jason.
Morning, Sheriff.
Good morning. I haven't been here in a little while, so.
I'll entertain you for a few minutes. In all seriousness, I did want to point out something. I'm going to brag on my folks. If you look around the nation, you look at the, just look at headlines and look at some of the crime that goes on. In Eddy County, we generally, in a major crime, a homicide, a major burglary, something like that, we generally have someone in custody the next day. And that's unheard of. And that's why I'm going to brag on my folks, because they're out there, and there's a lot of people in this county that are doing an exceptional job. And I'm not going to start naming off names because I think everybody's doing a really good job out there. But I'm responsible for my people, so I'm going to brag on them for a moment. And just the last few homicides we've had, and sadly we do have homicides, we have someone in custody immediately, and we have a good solid case for the district attorney to prosecute, and we hold their feet to the fire on that. We're like, we want this person in prison. And so I just wanted to point that out. When you see some of my deputies around, you see some of my detectives, give them a pat on the back, because they deserve it. They really do. Coming up, this 30-day session, I would like to put a bug in your ear about, we know that recreational marijuana is coming, and we know it's going to happen. So get your thoughts, please. I encourage you to get your thoughts together on that. There's other issues that are going to come up. I would encourage you, please, to stay in contact with me as your representative with New Mexico counties, because we're going to be establishing our legislative priorities here very quickly. And as president, I have a large role to play in that, and a lot of influence on that as well. So please let me know your thoughts, where you're at with this, what you think about certain things. We all know that the recreational marijuana is going to be a nightmare, and we know it's going to happen. But there's a lot of pieces to that and a lot of parts to that. Sadly, the sheriffs don't have a seat at the table to talk about that. We've got a sheriff from Doña Ana County. He doesn't speak to us. She's been put on the board, so we're not getting to say a lot. And we actually did have a very good dialogue going with the Drug Policy Alliance people. So we're going to try and keep that going, but we've kind of been undermined. So we'll work on that. Speaking about New Mexico counties, we had our board meeting here in Eddy County last week. We held that in Artesia, and we had and this is because the first board meeting with my term as presidency gets held in my county. And we chose Artesia because of the cost of hotels, frankly, was the big reason. And we had our reception at Adobe Rose the night before the meeting, and it was shocking. There were so many legislators there from this. I've never seen that many legislators show up to New Mexico County's board directors meeting reception. It was great, and we had some really good interaction, and they were really impressed with our county. Everybody enjoyed it. Lynn Ballard catered for us for our lunch and for our breakfast, and of course Lynn knocked it out of the park like he always does. So it was a really good, and of course Commissioner Henry had to cater 300 people it was, so he had to run fast to take care of that, and I hope Tanya got over her irritation with me for stealing you. So it was a really good meeting. We talked about a lot of things. Like I said, we're going to be putting our legislative priorities together here very quickly. We're going to start meeting on that, and so I do need input. I want to represent you. I want to represent the other elected officials, and so please don't hesitate to let me know what you're thinking, what's going on, because a lot of it's going to affect different people. House Bill 407, which is actually law now, the crazy voting reform thing. I have what really comes down to a lawsuit with my name on it against the Secretary of State that is before the New Mexico Supreme Court right now. It'll be heard on the 13th, and it will decide whether the Supreme Court will decide whether me serving a 6-year term now is constitutional or not. So we'll find out, and it's going to affect a lot of people. a whole lot of people across the state. It affects all the district attorneys. So they're gonna rule on that. The district attorneys have their own separate, them and the judges, they have their own separate, basically lawsuit. Theirs is I can't remember what it is. Ours is a writ of mandamus is what it's called. Theirs is I can't remember what theirs is called. It's all these fancy terms that Cass would know. But anyway, they're gonna make that decision, so we'll know here soon. So additionally, some good things that have been going on, and again, I haven't updated you in a while, so there's probably a lot I'm leaving out, and I will, and just because we need to get moving along, but we've made some big strides with Carlsbad PD. We have merged our SWAT teams together, which doesn't sound like a whole lot, but I'll tell you that is. When you start putting, I'm an old SWAT guy, when you start putting SWAT guys in, and Commissioner Wood knows about this, SWAT guys have these egos that are this big. And they don't like to share, they don't like to play nice with each other and everything else. So getting our teams merged is a really big deal. We've worked very hard on that, and it benefits in so many different ways because we don't have to have, Eddy County Sheriff's Office doesn't have to have so many people on the team. Carlsbad PD doesn't have to have this whole team. We put our resources together, and it's really working out well, and it's good for the citizens of Eddy County. It really is. So we're real happy about that. And the last thing is, we have upgraded our cross commissions. I sent out a letter, and it was pretty much coming from attorneys for our insurer, New Mexico counties, that said we really need to look how we do cross commissionings a little differently. And so all cross commissions that I give out that are not my folks, not my deputies, are not full deputy commissions. They're special deputy commissions. And that was to satisfy our insurer. And so I sent out letters to each municipality and said, hey, if you want to keep your cross commission, we have to do it this way. Otherwise, cross commissions are null and void. And so I've had a response from Artesia PD. We just have to schedule it where I can go and get them cross-commissioned. Carlsbad PD has responded. We haven't done anything with Loving. I haven't heard anything about what Loving wants to do. I think they're only down to like one officer now. So I don't know what we're going to do with Loving PD. I guess we need to have a discussion about that at some point. I don't know, maybe Commissioner Carlson, you might have some direction as to where and we can get together with the mayor or something and talk to him and see what he wants to do.
I think that'd be a great idea.
It needs to be addressed. So anyway, things are going well at the sheriff's office. We get people hired. I think we're actually 9 down right now, and it fluctuates a little bit. And I've spoken with a little bit with Commissioner Henry, and I've alluded to it with Roberta and with Wes. I'm going to try and do some restructuring in my budget and in some of my incentive pay or something like that to help make it more palatable to stay here. Recruiting is recruiting, and I can't compete. I cannot compete with Carlsbad PD. It's not going to happen. I can't compete with Hobbs PD, and I'm struggling to compete with Lee County, so I'm not even going to try. I mean, I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to keep going, but I'm not going to try and beat them. What I'm going to do is make it more incentive-driven to stay here. The folks that we're looking at losing are people in the 5 to 12 year service bracket. Those are the ones who will make big money going over to Carlsbad PD or Hobbs PD. They'll make $6 an hour more. Those are the ones we have to incentivize to keep here, and those are frankly some of my most valuable players, because they're the ones and they're the most vulnerable for burnout in that area, in that time frame. So we're starting to do some data driven. We're going to focus on that area, and we're going to focus on making it better for them to stay here, if that makes any sense. So I'll be coming with, and there's just so much going on. I'd like to have had a proposal out already, but and then the final thing, and I'll get out of here and quit monopolizing the time. And I can't remember the way it's worded, but I sent an email out The Mexico, Canada, United States trade agreement thing. Like I said, I don't have the exact terminology for it. Doña Ana has passed surprisingly, Doña Ana has passed a resolution in support of it. We're still looking at it. I'm not really that well versed in it. You folks probably are way more better versed in it than I am. But I would like to look at the potentially supporting that. The White House has contacted me and said, hey, with your position as president, would you at least bring it forward for people to discuss and look at? So if you would, think about it, and if you feel moved to do so, a resolution would be really nice. So that's my spiel. So thank you for putting up with me.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Just wanted me to announce that we have now put the commissioner videos on a YouTube channel, a government YouTube channel, so that people don't have to enroll like some people on Facebook and have pop-ups. So we've expanded to that, so it's another avenue for our videos.
Nice. Thank you.
Any questions?
Any other elected official, department head comments? No?
Commissioner, Chevron is here, so I don't know if you want to take a break on that.
Let's get to the comments, and then before executive session, we can.
Sounds good.
Next, we have interim co-county managers' comments, announcements. Do you have anything, Wes? I do, yes. But go ahead.
I'll let you go first.
Go ahead. I don't want to steal your thunder.
Very quickly, we're also going to roll out the videoing of the overview of the agenda and what went on in the commission meeting. Roberta's going to so they'll be able to access that and kind of see what went on in the meeting, what was passed, what wasn't passed, that type of thing. So I hope you weren't going to.
But I was going to say that too, but yeah, I wanted to let everybody know that too.
All right. Thank you.
Y'all are too funny.
The only other thing I wanted to add on to that was Wes and I have reached out to other entities as well to try and get everyone together to discuss the housing issues in Eddy County. So we are working on that. Wes has been reaching out to them, so hopefully we'll have something put together here pretty soon on that. And then the last thing I just wanted to say thank you to all the elected officials and department heads out there. Just serving as interim co-county manager, I just want to say thank you for all your support that you've given Wes and I and stuff, and I really do appreciate everybody, so thank you. And I just want you to know that all your department heads, elected officials, they've been really great during this time, so that's all I have. Next is county commissioner comments, announcements, and updates.
Commissioner Cobb.
Well, Commissioner Carlson spent the morning with Jay Monahan. I spent the afternoon with him. For those of you that don't know, he's a political blogger. He's very, very influential in Santa Fe, reporter. Anyway, he's going to be writing a series of stories on Eddy County, the city of Carlsbad, going into the school system. He met with the BLM. He spent the morning with Commissioner Carlson. He don't want to steal his thunder. He'll tell you what they did. But I think it'll be a great series. There was also a great 3-part series on KOA TV. If you didn't get to watch that, you can go and Google that or catch it on Facebook. It was a 3-night series, and I think it was a very good overview of what's happening in Eddy County, and it was very fair. Kind of hit a lot of each side of the different issues that we have. So if you didn't get to see that, I would suggest that you pick that up and watch that. And the mayor's trash task force, we had our first meeting, and I think this is going to be a great committee. Dave Sepich and Valerie Branson, and Mark Walterscheid are the three chairs of those committees, and it was just amazing to see how many people attended the first meeting and how many people are just very concerned about the way Carlsbad looks and the amount of trash that are on just streets, alleys, state highways, county roads. It's pretty amazing, and the amount of support we had. We had the caverns there, we had Park Service there, we had people from the BLM, we had citizens from both the county and the cities, and it was a good meeting. I'm looking forward to our next one, which is on the 14th, right? I'm looking at Mary because she's my brain. We had our solid waste meeting for the county. It went great. It was Jason's first meeting in his new position, and lots of good stuff happening. We had great representation from the city at our solid waste meeting. So it was a good meeting as well, very well attended. And we will be having another solid waste committee meeting next quarter. So other than it just being super busy right now and lots going on, I was made aware that Sunday there was an activist training, training people to lobby against the methane meeting that's happening tomorrow, and then also against the nuclear stuff. So they brought some big heavy hitters in on Sunday. It was held at a church here in Carlsbad. So I was made aware of that, and anyway, I found that pretty interesting. Just a heads up on that to my fellow commissioners. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
I just wanted to thank the sheriff and fire services for responding to the drowning at Brantley Lake and handling that in a professional manner. We've got good professional services here. We've got good fire and good sheriff. I do appreciate that. You know, and in light of the shooting in El Paso, I know that we'd be in good hands if anything like that was to ever happen in Carlsbad. We pray that it doesn't. Also pray for those families down there in El Paso. But nonetheless, I know we'd be handled and in good hands if that happened. I had some road calls over the last week or two, and it's been so nice that I've been able to tell them that we're actually doing something about it. So I said, well, and now I've got this written down, 889 potholes, an average of 42.3 potholes per day. If we're doing that over 3 weeks. So I appreciate that. Sitting here in the meeting, I'm sure we've got another 5 or 6 of them done. So I'm going to go ahead and report that. Appreciate that. I do appreciate everybody in the county, and that's about all the comments I have.
Like Susan, I got to spend time with Joe Monahan, and spent Thursday evening, had a little get together and got to talk to him, talk his ear off then had him captured for breakfast on Friday morning. Then I had him in an airplane flying around, so we really had him captured on that. And then I had him captured in a pickup vehicle that we got to ride up and down the roads, and we made sure we took him south of Loving so that he could experience that life and death situation that was there. And then we took him down on Sewers Road, and he almost had a fit about that because there was a big old truck coming right at us, and I thought that was funny. He didn't think it was so funny? I thought it was funny. And then we took him down 31, and then a little bit down 128, and then back down the old Refinery Road, which all of those were great educations for somebody coming out of Santa Fe. The one thing that I did get to show him was the importance of funding our roads and how the economic boom that we're experiencing today in the state of New Mexico is so dependent on our transportation system, whether it's to take manpower, our services to the field, our products to the refineries and the pipeline. It's just so very important. And the state of New Mexico is seeing an opportunity today, and that's in southeast New Mexico, and that's what I wanted to get across to him, that we'll never see this again, and we need to take advantage of it. The only way to take advantage of it is spend the money where the money's coming from. And so I tried to hammer home the fact that this is where the money, and we need to be sure the legislators understand that, and that they understand that we're not only putting out our sweat and tears into this, but the way the roads are today, we're putting out our blood into this. And so I really think we hammered that home. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, one other thing. I came from El Paso yesterday, and the Border Patrol station is open. So everybody say thank you for that.
Did you make it through?
Barely. Okay.
The only thing I had was the Eddy County Fair. They completed that. It was nice to see a lot of the elected officials there for the opening of the fair. And I think the temperature run in the 80s. I mean, it was nice for an opening day. We've been out there before when you're burning up, but this year's fair was a lot cooler. I think another record sales happened again, and it's good for the kids. They put in a lot of work, a lot of money into showing feeding their animals and grooming them and showing them, but it was a huge success.
Thank you.
We got a couple quick ones, just to address Sheriff's conversation about marijuana. That's something obviously I'm passionate about. I've mentioned it a number of times. For a state where the schools are failing, the kids are dropping out, we're not getting the grades, and DUI's always at a record high, seems logical to introduce a drug that would just make it all better. When it's been proven that introducing those in all the states that have legalized it, all of those have even gotten worse. So in a state that can't figure it out, let's just compound the issue. So that seems to be what they're really good at up there, and it's very disappointing to see. I'm disgusted with it, and I will fight it in every way that I possibly can to try to keep our kids safe the best we can. A couple other things moving quickly. Also what he addressed on the new election thing. Apparently I am now going to be District 1, which makes complete sense because we are the City of Champions. We might as well have the #1 district, right? I was waiting. You knew I had to go there. So that was exciting to see. Glad to see we corrected that, and now we got all that figured out. I did get to welcome many of the commissioners and people from the NMC, and it was nice. One of the commissioners, and this goes to what I've said a number of times in a number of the speeches I've had to make over the last couple of weeks. I'm really proud of commissions and sheriffs lately because I think we're the only ones actually listening to the public and doing what the public has asked us to do. Because a commissioner from the north actually stopped me on my way out and said, hey, we really appreciate Eddy County and Lee County for all the oil and gas that y'all are doing. Apparently he stopped his legislature who was bragging about all the capital that they were getting. He says, well, you need to realize all that money you're getting came from Eddy County, so you need to go thank those guys. You did nothing. And he was absolutely correct. And it's really nice to hear that many of the commissioners actually understand where it's coming from. We just need to educate our representatives from the north on where that money's coming from and start supporting this industry. Mainly, and that commissioner even said, y'all's infrastructure has got to improve because that'll make the money better. So many of us get it. Many of the north gets it. It's just we've got to help educate those representatives. And I think in this next election, maybe we'll see some good education that they're going to get for forgetting to represent the people that they're elected to represent rather than a party and or themselves. Whatever party that is, it doesn't matter to me. Another other thing that I want to really mention, I'm really proud of, and I think it's a testament to what y'all have done as Cole County managers, department heads. We have worked so hard to get this nonsense of the city against the city, the cities against the county. For 2 years, 3 years, that's all we've beat on is let's get, and I think this is the best working relationship I've seen in a really long time. I've been stopped a number of times by people in the city saying we've never seen it this good. So please keep up that good work. That's the only way we're going to get this accomplished, is to continue to work together, to continue to fight the good fight. And I think there's a lot of fights left to come. But if we don't work together, it's not going to work. So I'm really, really proud. I thank y'all so much, because that was very important to me and many of the commissioners, and hopefully many of the other folks around town, to keep that going. So thank y'all for that. Obviously, school starts next week, so please start watching out. There's going to be kids everywhere. It's always an exciting time, which means football season. 2-a-days started yesterday for us, so always exciting. Can't wait. Now we'll go back to the Chevron, and then we'll go into executive.
Sure. So next, Chevron is here, so we'll go back up to item number 2 on the timed agenda, which is the Chevron check presentation to Eddy County.
Okay.
Good morning, Commissioners. Chevron is here to present a $75,000 check in continued support of the Energy Advisory Board. And to present that check is Nathan Carroll. He's Chevron's New Mexico Superintendent.
You guys want to come up and do a little photo op?
Sure.
That'd be great.
Let us step out there.
Yeah, let's do it out there. It makes it
Is
a
that
little
okay?
easier. Absolutely.
Did y'all want to say
I was going to say,
Well, I was just going to introduce myself, so, fair enough.
Yeah.
So I just took on the role of Operations Superintendent here in Delaware Basin in New Mexico. Couldn't be happier to be here myself. Spent the last 12 months in Midland, and believe me, my family was ready to leave. You guys have traffic issues here, and they've got extraordinary traffic issues, so we're excited. Moving in 2 weeks, so we'll be having our little 5-year-old miracle child show up to your school district, so very excited to be here. And apologies for being late. I came over and got hung up in traffic, working on the road, and I took my youthful bliss back and stayed right below the speed limit and tried to keep myself safe along with everybody else. So it's great to be here. Glad to meet everyone, and look forward to a healthy relationship.
May I make a quick comment of some humor? I want you to know that Nathan is going to do his best to promote intercity cooperation and friendliness, because he's moving to the northern part of the county as opposed to down here. So he will be representing the entire county.
It's a beautiful part of the county, I'll tell you what. Just throwing that out there.
Very good.
All right. Where would you like to do this, Jerry? We'll do it over here.
I don't know if that was like a dig or
I don't know.
I'm gonna take it as a woo-woo.
Smart.